can!
It's almost!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right on the show today, India, Pakistan and International Cricket Council or the ICC are in a deadlock. The solution regarding all the chaos that's surrounding the ICC Champions Trophy is nowhere near in sight, particularly when the trophy reached Islamabad. PCB jumped the gun with the tour plans, which has now come to a halt. But what does this tell us and where does it stand? Meanwhile, Israel and France football teams skirmished to a goalless draw in the Nations League in Paris, but the scuffles outside the pitch is what's making all the headlines. We get you the latest on that. And the fight between Mike Tyson and YouTuber influencer Jake Paul is heating up, especially after Tyson slapped Jake ahead of a press conference. This fight is set to stream on an OTT platform to 300 million subscribers. What's so hot about this showdown? But first, we'll take a look at the headlines. In cricket, Australia beat Pakistan by 29 runs in the first T20 international of the three-match series. The match was shortened by frequent spells of rain in Brisbane. Batting first, Australia powered to 93, courtesy Glenn Maxwell's fiery 43-run cameo. Pakistan faltered under pressure and could only manage 64 runs. In India, 23-year-old Anshul Kamboj, representing Haryana, etched history. He claimed 10 wickets in a single inning during the Ranji Trophy, achieving figures of 10 for 49 against Kerala, a remarkable feat, making him only the third bowler ever to accomplish something like this in the tournament's history. New Zealand's Tim Southee announced retirement from Test cricket. His last match, in fact, will be in December when New Zealand hosts England. The New Zealand versus England series will commence on the 28th of November. Southee is New Zealand's second highest wicket taker in Tests. Over in football, Messi suffered a shocking loss in Paraguay. Paraguay beat Argentina 2-1 in a World Cup qualifier. Argentina's Lautaro Martinez scored the first goal in the 11th minute, but Paraguay's Antonio Sanabria leveled the game shortly thereafter. Omar Alderete scored the second, which became the winner after halftime. FIFA, in fact, revealed the Club World Cup Trophy 2. The trophy consists of gold-plated moving parts in the form of concentric circles. It also has 13 different languages engraved in it in Braille. The Club World Cup is one-of-a-kind competition that begins next year. Wrapping it up with news in Formula One, Monaco will continue to host Formula One races until at least 2031. This comes after a new 6-year contract that was signed between the Automobile Club of Monaco and the Formula One Group. The Monaco Grand Prix is considered one of the most iconic Formula One races. The European country has hosted races every year since 1955, barring the pandemic year. The confusion and drama surrounding the ICC Champions Trophy is hot and it continues. Pakistan is supposed to host the event early next year, but guess what? With just a little less than 100 days to go for the supposed start of the event, there is still no clarity on all the finer aspects of the tournament. India doesn't want to travel to Pakistan. That's the one thing that's clear. And unlike the last time when Pakistan succumbed to a hybrid model while hosting Asia Cup last year, Pakistan is standing firm. They do not want to give up the full rights to host the ICC Champions Trophy in its entirety, especially when this is their first ICC event since 1996. It's a big deal and they're taking this very, very seriously. ICC for the first time is having a stalemate situation on its hands, but here's the shocker. Despite zero clarity on where and when and what matches will be held, PCB went ahead to announce the trophy tour on its Twitter. You know, usually there is a grand unveiling of the tournament schedule, a countdown to the mega event. There's buzz, there's song and dance to show what to expect. There has been none of that because one of the biggest contenders in any ICC cricket event, a T20 World Champion side, India, has refused to travel to Pakistan. The latest as of just a while ago, as we speak, is that the BCCI showed its indignation when PCB announced the trophy tour and the particular places that the trophy is set to travel, barring which the trophy tour has come to a grinding halt. Supposedly, ICC is in conversation with the PCB as to what to do next. So what was Pakistan planning to do with the trophy? Now, this is customary. The trophy before any big ICC event is taken right through the host country. They usually plan innovative ways of getting the trophy closer to the fans. A closer look at it before a cricket team lays its hands on it at the end of the tournament. It's quite nostalgic, and it sort of symbolizes what this tournament would look to be like. So where did Pakistan announce to take the trophy for? The trophy tour will, of course, according to them, they wanted it to be kicked off on Saturday, 16 November. That's what they said. It was a week-long plan that they announced on their Twitter handles and their social media platforms. And it included some some particular destinations in POK, Muri, Hunza, Muzaffarabad, Skardu, and of course a very ambitious pit stop in K2, the summit of K2. Of course, that comes to a grinding halt now because all of this sounded really great, but it all could go up to smoke. ICC clearly wanted to do some damage control, especially after BCCI showed its indignation when all of this plan was announced. The news, of course, is that PCB jumped the gun here because many other voices also sprung up when this was announced, criticizing this move by Pakistan to do the trophy tour, including their very own former cricketers.
Strange having a trophy tour without the schedule being announced. What is the purpose of this trophy tour when no one really knows at which venues the tournament will be held and whether Pakistan and India will play against each other in the event?
The impasse between Pakistan, India and the ICC here, the governing body, has in fact sparked very contrasting reactions from different quarters. Some fans largely, of course, see the comical side to all of this. But clearly, the broadcasters, organizers and everyone involved in the running of this tournament are sweating it out. It is nervous times here, and former Pakistan cricketers are getting more and more vocal as the day goes.
If countries once divided by history can come together in the Olympic spirit, why can't we do the same for cricket and for the Champions Trophy? As stewards of this game, we owe it to cricket to keep egos in check and focus on its growth and spirit. I hope to see every team in Pakistan for CT25.
Pakistan can stop playing cricket against India. Had I been in power, then, yes, I may have taken this strong step. If you don't want to play, then don't play against us. In my opinion, ICC should withhold the hosting rights for both countries until these issues between them are resolved, until their problems are settled.
While some of those remarks, of course, are too drastic and far-fetched to even ponder or comment on, the situation indeed, though, is sticky. The trophy reaching Islamabad only adding, of course, more confusion to an already complex situation. The governments of both the countries are already involved, so where do you stand in this matter? Should India finally travel to Pakistan after all these decades of a Cold War situation of diplomacy translating itself onto the sporting pitch, especially despite the security concerns that they haven't officially put forth? Or should Pakistan climb down from its stand and relent to a hybrid model once more? One thing's certain, if neither of these two scenarios play out, with time also running out, we're distinctly looking at the ICC shifting the event out of Pakistan, which could have massive repercussions. Do watch this space, though, for all the latest on this very hot developing story. As anticipated, chaos marred the Israel versus France football game, the UEFA Nations League match that was held in Paris. The game unfolded under very tense circumstances. It came just days after Israeli fans were attacked in Amsterdam. So Paris was bracing itself for something similar. And France went all out with the security arrangements.
Clearly, what we learned from Amsterdam is that we must be present in the public space, including farther deep, as well as very far from the stadium, and guarantee optimal protection of all spectators, particularly on their route back to their homes or their places of accommodation. These are the measures asked of me by the Interior Minister.
Some 4,000 officers were deployed ahead of the match. Elite tactical units were mobilized and armored vehicles were stationed at the venue. Here's a look. Why don't you take a look at the scenes that played out outside the stadium? Police officials, of course, steaming the entire area there. The match had, unsurprisingly, significantly very low turnout due to, of course, these security fears. Only a little over 16,000 fans turned up to watch this clash, which meant a lot of the 80,000 capacity stadium had a sea of empty seats. But despite the security threats, Israeli fans braced themselves and turned up to cheer their team on.
Honestly, I think it's sad to see that we have such a large security presence for a simple football match, because sport is made to unite. We've always had laughter and cheers only through sport. Sport is not supposed to be conflictual. Then I am still happy to see that there are 20,000 people present. It's a few compared to what the Stade de France Stadium can accommodate, but despite everything, these are still 20,000 people. 20,000 people who came. 20,000 people who were not discouraged. And certainly 20,000 people who are not afraid either. And that's what we must remember from this match.
Around 100 of these Israeli fans huddled together in a small corner of the Stade de France. It was the lowest attendance at the stadium for a national game. Israel's national anthem, of course, rang out just before the start of the game, but it was met with a chorus of boos and whistles from the whole French crowd. And all of this unfolded in the presence of French President Emmanuel Macron, who made it to that matchup. In fact, just 10 minutes into the game, scuffles broke out in the stands. Security personnel, of course, had to intervene to separate the opposing groups. In fact, the latest is that 40 of the warring fans were arrested by the French police. But despite all this, the match remained largely unaffected. The game continued despite the charged-up atmosphere and sadly ended in a goalless draw. In the moments that followed, images of Israeli fans being jeered by the French crowd circulated widely on social media. These events, of course, of the night were made more than just football. It showed the divisions in the French society, especially over the conflict.
When Russia went to war against Ukraine, they were banned from all sports. Despite the genocide, the fact that they kill women, children, men can be victims too, Israel is allowed to play a match. We are told sports and politics should be separate. Well, no. If we give them that right, then we are complicit in their murder.
Football is not politic. Okay, the president is here and maybe he has some political reason, but today we're not here for politics. Again, football is something that unites people all over the country, all over the world, and that's important. And it don't have, and it must be something just friendly.
So football, much like many other sporting disciplines, has become quite the mirror of the geopolitical tensions. While Macron's message on fighting anti-Semitism was important, it fell on deaf ears. The events at Stade de France are not a one-off. Israeli fans have been at the receiving end lately, and it shows you just how the lines between sports and politics has increasingly gotten more blurred. The incident in Paris and the one in Amsterdam has made one thing clear: sports will forever remain a battleground for larger ideological conflicts, and future matches, particularly involving Israel, will carry out the same political overtures. Boxing fans are getting ready to witness a clash of two worlds. In one corner, we've got the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson, a 58-year-old former heavyweight world champion. And in the other, we have Jake Paul, all of 27, a YouTube sensation turned fighter who's managed to make it to the boxing scene, mostly with his phone. Both of them will step inside the ring tonight. The excitement around this bout is palpable. What's behind this celebrity boxing craze? Our next report tells you.
I know all of these things. He has one punch knockout power. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time. But I will prove on November 15th, all the haters wrong, all of these YouTuber fucking hillbillies wrong.
I'm just ready. I'm just ready. You know, I'm going to do my talk, and I'm going to talk my shit, and I'm ready to fight. I'm a
And there it is. You heard the two of them. Mike Tyson, a walking wrecking ball. Think of him as your retiring uncle who could still flip a car. And then there's Jake Paul, the guy who has somehow made punching look like a TikTok trend. Before we delve deeper into this madness, we have to know, how did it get to a point where a former heavyweight champion, 31 years senior, is facing off against a professional trash talker, an influencer to put it mildly. Celebrity boxing bouts have been around for quite some time now, though it's always rather equally matched. In 2017, the then champion Conor McGregor fought it out with boxing champion Floyd Mayweather. That encounter was called the money fight. In 2023, there was a lot of buzz around Meta founder Mark Zuckerberg and Tesla founder Elon Musk taking part in a cage fight. Pity that face-off never materialized. Coming back to this seemingly weird matchup, Tyson didn't wait for the bell or round one to show his intentions. He slapped Jake Paul right across the face during a weigh-in.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It'd say Jake Paul is lucky to have gotten away with just this, because Mike Tyson is the same guy who bit off a boxer's ear. This fight has clearly caught the eyeballs, and the lead-up to this event has been just as feisty. In the lead-up to this event, both the so-called tough dudes have called each other nasty names and roasted each other more than a turkey on Thanksgiving. Listen to this.
I don't even feel it. He's angry. He's an angry little elf. Mike Tyson, I thought that was a cute slap, buddy, but tomorrow you're getting knocked the out. I'm burial. I'm up. He hits like a. It's personal now. It's personal now. He must die.
It will be OTT platform Netflix's first live boxing event coverage, and it will be streamed absolutely free to nearly 300 million subscribers who are eagerly waiting for the showdown. Now let's get the house rules straight. The match has been sanctioned by the Texas Licensing and Regulation Department, so it's being treated as a professional game. Both fighters will wear 14-ounce gloves, a step up from the usual 10-ounce. Knockouts are fair game, so an all-out war is incoming. And this is a stacked event, meaning it has a lot of undercard fights, setting the stage for the Tyson vs. Paul main event. Keep in mind, Tyson boasts a 50-6 win-loss record, and he enters the ring with 44 knockouts, while Paul stands at 9-1 with 7 knockouts. Tyson's record screams, "I have been knocking people out since before you were born," while Paul's says, "I have knocked out just enough people to prove I'm not just about memes." Well, Jake Paul is clear about his motive. He's not here for the glory, he just wants to make enough cash. He's called himself an anti-hero. Meanwhile, Mike Tyson's take on this is,
this money from this fight is not going to change my lifestyle any. I'm not, I could use a buck like everyone else, but this is not for financial reason. My life is not going to change not 1% after this fight. I will always be able to live this way. And I'm just doing it because I want to test myself.
Mike Tyson was once the undisputed heavyweight champion. But in 1992, his reign came to an end. That's when he was convicted of rape. He was jailed for 6 years. After making a comeback, his career was never the same. Fast forward to today, Tyson is fighting a YouTuber. It's a far cry from his days as the baddest man on the planet. Nevertheless, this battle has got many curious and hooked.
Time for last serve. The Great World Race has kicked off. The first leg in Antarctica saw William Monsell and Ashley Paulson set record times in frozen terrain. Take a look at their ice-cold hustle. That wraps up Firstpost edition today. I'll see you, of course, after the weekend. Do take care. Bye-bye.